22-10 is your final here. Herbert, 17-26, 144 and the touchdown, but the story starts on the ground. J.K. Dobbins, $135 to his name. And for more, it's time to take you out to the booth where the great Tony Romo is standing by. Tony, always great to see you and start a new season here. And I want to start with the final words you uttered on the broadcast. Chargers, you might have found your identity. It's really an identity in the image of their head coach. What stood out to you about the game plan?
I mean, that was almost exactly what you'd expect, like a tough, physical, hard-fought Jim Harbaugh game. And the one thing is the Raiders were equally as physically tough. And I think there'll be very few games this year that someone will impose their will on either one of these teams. You'll have styles and different fights, but this was just one of those persevere, like a real 15-round fight. And it was ugly, it was tough. This D-line dominated the first portion, then the next D-line did. And it was old school football, and I enjoyed the heck out of the whole game, both sides.
And in round 14, it did actually turn into a fight there for a moment. Let's talk about the Raiders for a couple seconds here, because so often we see that magic captured by an interim head coach, and then you get to the actual opportunity, and it doesn't happen too often where the interim gets the head man job. How do you bottle up what they had last year down the stretch run and use it this year in what's required of a full-time head coach?
I wouldn't worry about the Raiders. And Antonio Pierce is for real. Like, I've played against him. I've communicated with him a bunch, you know, since he took over last year. And I think he's outstanding in almost each area, you know, that you want your head coach. He has the ability to communicate with the players at a very high level. He has a standard that he sets that they follow. His players play as hard as any unit or any team that you'll see on tape week in, week out last year. You'll see that again today. It leaps out. They had too many turnovers, and I think that cost them when they were right in that position to kind of extend the lead. And to me, there's a lot of positives there, but they didn't get the W. But they're much more exotic on defense than you think. He knows how to hide, disguise. I think they're going to have a really good year. They're just in a very tough division. I mean, you got the Chargers, you got Andy Reid and the Chiefs, Sean Payton, a young quarterback, we'll see. But the Raiders are going to be fine. They're just going to have to win some of the close ones.
That's it. Everybody looking up at that big red machine. Opening arguments have been made between the Raiders and the Chargers. It's a win as the Harbaugh era begins. Tony Romo, appreciate you stopping by as always.
Thanks.
All right, to look into the numbers here, it's plain and simple. The man gets his teams ready to play. Most recently, a decade removed from his last, a win over the Raiders in week 1, 22-10, and it started on the ground with a positive gain from J.K. Dobbins time and again. It looked like Harbaugh. It's going to be hard to stop. But as we said, the Chiefs at the top, far more multiple. See if this sort of bruising ball can withstand a full season in that division. Back in studio alongside the two-time Super Bowl champ Bryant McFadden, Joe Musso, your host. B-Mac, that was exactly what we thought it was going to be. Yep. It was two teams that maybe are at a little bit of a talent deficit relative to those at the top of their division. There's really no hiding that the Chiefs have gotten better. We saw that on opening night. But as it pertains to these two, they're going to be tough outs for anybody that looks at them. What stood out to you on the Chargers side first and foremost, that physical brand of football?
Just their ability to stay with the running game. You know, oftentimes offenses, if they see something not working, and they kind of switch it up. But for Coach Harbaugh and his entire staff, offensively, they stayed patient with the running game. And in the second half is when we really saw running opportunities for the Chargers, led by J.K. Dobbins. He finished with 135 yards on in the ball game. But if you look at it in the first half, the Raiders did a great job in not allowing any running lanes. But they stayed patient. And then, of course, one small crease open, and he took 160-plus yards to kind of jumpstart everything when it came to this game kind of getting out of hand in favor of the Chargers. And that's the mentality. You know they're going to stay patient and stay devoted to the running game, and also they're going to play clean football. One side was sloppy. 3 turnovers, 2 fumbles, 1 interception. The other side, clean, spotless football. And they were able to win this ball game, guys, with Justin Herbert only throwing for 144 yards. Those are Pop Warner numbers for quarterbacks, right? That's not an area that Justin Herbert is used to being in, especially winning ball games.
I want to hear more about that because Justin Herbert is a guy that it seems like since that rookie season and the numbers, the gaudiness of them, this is going to be a different offense. And Justin Herbert's going to be asked to do different things within it. That might be what the winning stat line has to look like with the weapons he has around him. Obviously, you want to strike a little bit more of a balance, but do you think that they're doing a disservice? If it is this run-first plotting offense, are you not taking advantage of your top weapon?
No, I don't think they're doing Justin a disservice. And the reason why is because the other way, when we've seen him become more of a volume quarterback when it comes to the opportunities, it didn't really provide a lot of wins, right? So this offense, when you look at all the offenses in the National Football League, their signature is ball control. Ball control, playing smart with the football, and play tougher longer. That's their mindset. And it works for Coach Harbaugh. Every stop he's been, it's been the same mindset. Ball control, play tougher longer, and be smart. That's what we saw today. And eventually, you talked about the talent concerns. They're going to get more talent into the building, right? But if he's able to make things happen right now with this said roster, just wait until he gets more talent in the building. But most importantly, you can tell he has the respect of the locker room. Everyone has bought into everything that he is selling, regardless if it's full price or half price. They're buying it because they know he has a resume of doing what? Winning.
And turning things around quickly. That's what Jim Harbaugh has done every single place that he has gone. And we'll see if, they continue to buy into this run style. And we'll see what happens when they face off with a team that's airing it out over the top. What we do know is that a record was broken. The most yards in a debut for a running back in Chargers history as J.K. Dobbins surpasses LaDainian Tomlinson's number. Let's hear from Dobbins postgame with Tracy Wolfson.
Just an incredible performance, 10 carries, 135 yards, and a touchdown for you. To be able to do that after last year, tearing your Achilles week 1, can you describe the emotions about it?
I've been praying hard, working hard, and it's no surprise to me because of the work I put in, the prayers I put in. I knew that God had something for me. When I tore my Achilles, I told the guys in the locker room in Baltimore, I'm built for this. It was supposed to happen. I don't know why it happened, but it happened.
Well, you certainly proved that today. This team struggled in the first half, though. What was that conversation like at halftime?
Man, just keep pushing, keep fighting. We worked so hard all camp, right? So our coach, he's a fighter. Everybody's a fighter. It's our culture now, so we're going to keep fighting.
You mentioned your coach. You go from one Harbaugh to another Harbaugh. What's it like to play for Jim Harbaugh?
It's great. I love him. I had to beat him a few times in college.
Yes,
3 times.
He's happy to have you on his side now.
Yes, ma'am. I'm happy to be on his side, too.
Appreciate it. Congrats.
Yes, thank you so much.
Well, you heard it right there. Our coach fights, and we're going to fight. It's what we do now. J.K. Dobbins, $135, did it on 10 totes. That was 13.5 yards per carry.
Math is mathing, Joe.
Those are the easy ones for me. You just move that decimal point right over. That's about as far as I go. J.K. Dobbins going far in his debut as a Charger.